The two biggest rappers in the world had been in an incredible battle over the last few weeks, months, maybe even years, depending on how you look at the time frame. I would like to show you guys how you can use those tactics if you ever find yourself in some sort of battle, warfare, conflict, with one of your enemies, opponents, haters, or some hoe. All right. But we're going to look at it through the lens of two books. One of the books being The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu was an ancient Chinese warrior, military strategist from the 5th century BC. Not Brandon Carter, but before Christ. And he used to fuck shit up all over Asia. And he wrote a book about it called The Art of War. We're going to dive into how Drake and Kendrick used some of those tactics against each other. And then we're also going to look at it from the lens of the homie Robert Greene's book, 33 Strategies of War. In that book, Robert looked at military campaigns throughout history and broke down the 33 strategies that were most influential and most impactful. Robert Greene, he's one of my favorite authors. I interviewed him on the channel before. We have an old video where I interviewed him. He wrote 48 Laws of Power and his newest book, Laws of Human Nature. He sent me an autographed copy of it. So I got autographed copies of books. It's not a big deal. I'm just saying I got a bunch of autographed copies from one of the greatest authors of all time. He sends me his books before they come out. It's not a big deal. I just feel like mentioning it. So we're going to break these down. Here's the thing about the battle between Drake and Kendrick Lamar. Historically, most rap battles, it seemed as its opponents were trying to see who was the best rapper. This is not that. This has devolved into who can say the most scathing things about the other, who can tarnish the other's reputation the most. It's not about who's the best rapper anymore, at least. That's what I thought we were getting into, and we got something totally different. That's fine. I'm not here to say who's the best rapper because I don't think that's what this battle was about at all. But I do think it's the greatest battle we've ever had in hip hop because for a variety of reasons. One, this is the most songs we've gotten from the two best artists against each other ever. If I think Biggie versus Pac, Pac had hit him up, but Biggie never directly responded to hit him up. Not in a real distinct way. He kind of like sneak dissed him a little bit and shit. He never really responded to hit him up. So I don't think you can really compare that to this. And then we had Nas versus Jay-Z. Now you guys weren't outside when that happened. You were too young, man. You was babies and shit. But I was in college. That was a huge battle, but we only really got one round. We got Takeover, Jay-Z's Takeover versus Ether. And then Jay-Z came out with a song called Super Ugly that we all kind of try to forget. So it was just one round and it was a distinct winner. There was no one on earth saying Jay-Z won that battle. Even me, a Jay-Z stan, nobody is saying that Jay-Z won that battle. It was a unanimous victory for Nasir Jones. This is different. We got people saying there's different winners on other sides. In this battle, we got a lot of people saying that Drake won. I think sentiment is kind of leaning towards Kendrick, the majority of sentiment. But, Drake fans are saying he won. Kendrick fans are saying they won. But it's not even about who's the best rapper anymore. It's about who can say the worst shit about each other, who can fuck up the other one's reputation the most. And they're using some of these strategies from the books I mentioned earlier. So let's dive deep into it. Sun Tzu says, if there are disturbances in the camp, the authority of the general is weak. So I don't believe that it's a coincidence that Kendrick attacked them at this time. See, they had beef brewing. They were sending subliminal shots at each other for like 10 years. Ever since Kendrick Lamar dropped a verse on Big Sean's song called Control, where he mentioned a bunch of rappers, said he was going to kill them all, and Drake was one of the rappers mentioned. But it wasn't like a hard diss. He just said, I'm better than all y'all and I'm going to win, which is, I can see how some people can get upset by that. And they were sub-dissing each other the whole time. But he picked this time. It seemed to be a coordinated attack. It wasn't just Kendrick. It was all Drake's former friends. Almost everyone in this motherfucker knew. Metro Boomin, longtime producer and collaborator with Drake and friends. His boy Future, who they did an album with in the past. Kanye West is coming at him. The Weeknd is coming at him. The Weeknd, longtime collaborator with Drake. It seemed to be a coordinated attack. I think Kendrick saw that all these people had beef with him. He's like, now's the time. This is the time. And I think it was strategic to do it at that time. But then you also want to look at chapter 6 of the Art of War. It's called Weak Points and Strong. Sun Tzu writes, appear at points where the enemy must hasten to defend. March swiftly to places where you are not expected. So not only did he pick the time when all of Drake's former colleagues seemed to have beef with him, it was also while Drake was on tour with my former favorite rapper, J. Cole. We can talk about that later, why he's not my favorite rapper anymore. But he was on tour with J. Cole when he dropped the disc. He dropped the disc in March on Metro Boomin's album on the song Like That. And it was in March while Drake was on tour. So now, how do you respond when you on tour? And it was after Drake had came off another tour with 21 Savage. They was on tour together. So he just did 2 back-to-back tours. The motherfucker had to be exhausted. And now he's got to deal with this shit with one of the best rappers in the world talking shit about him. I think it was all perfect timing for Kendrick. What you should take away from this, even if you want to attack an enemy for whatever reason, I don't mean like a physical attack. I'm not promoting violence. I'm just saying you might have people that you got to go against the way Apple goes against Google or Microsoft goes against Apple or something like that. You may have a business conflict and you might have to go against a business opponent, or something of that nature. It's important to be at the right time. You don't want to just go crazy. You may have to wait a little bit, because I believe Kendrick waited for this moment. I believe he probably wanted to go earlier, because on October 6th of last year, 2023, Drake and my former favorite rapper, J. Cole, came out with the song First Person Shooter. It was a fucking subtle diss there. And I think this is what really pissed Kendrick off. So in that song, J. fucking Cole said, love when they argue the hardest MC. Is it K. Dot, Aubrey, or me? We the big three like we started a league. Now I feel like I'm Muhammad Ali. Earlier in that song, he says, debating on my numeral, not the 3, not the 2, I'm the UNO. Numero UNO. UNO is Spanish for 1. So basically, that's the whole shit. We the big 3. That's a backhanded ass compliment. He's saying, oh yeah, we the big 3, but I'm number 1, you bitch ass short motherfucker. And I think Kendrick took that personally. But you see, he waited 14 months for the right timing to come back at him. He didn't just pop out the next day. All right, you motherfuckers, I'm gonna wait. And he waited till all Drake's homies was conspiring against him. And he waited, and I believe that was strategic to drop that shit when he was on tour. You may say, oh no, he just dropped it because that's when Metro's album dropped. Well, Metro dropped 2 fucking albums dissing Drake while he was on tour. I think that was strategic too. This was a coordinated attack. Drake's being attacked from all fronts. Funny thing, that was J. Cole started this shit. So Kendrick dissed both of them motherfuckers, but he went more at Drake. You know what I'm saying? Now, I say that to say, even if a motherfucker attacks you, even if they come at you, you don't have to respond right then. You want to wait to the appropriate time, the way Kendrick did. Especially if you're going at the number 1 rapper in the world. Statistically, if we're looking at the charts, the number 1 rapper of all time. Second, I think Eminem still sells. But you know what the fuck I mean, bro. So just remember this next time you're involved in a battle, you got beef with somebody, either in these streets or in business. Now I want to move on to Robert Greene's 33 strategies of war, right? Because I feel like there's some of these strategies are applicable to what we see going on. Law number 4 of the 33 strategies of war is the blitzkrieg strategy. I didn't feel right saying that because I know the origin of that word, but we're going to keep going. Use speed to surprise and overwhelm your opponent before they can fully respond. Now, this is what Drake used to do. This was Drake's move. When he had beef with Meek Mill, he dropped 1 song against Meek, which was kind of calm. Everybody kind of forgets it. Then he came with back-to-back like a few days later. That's Drake's move. He hit you twice in a row. So Drake did the same thing. Remember, Like That came out in March. That was the first time Kendrick had officially dissed Drake in the last 10 years. The first time he said, no, fuck you, motherfucker. In April, once this motherfucker gets on tour, remember, he just went on 2 tours in a row. He came back, all right, cool. He came out with Push-Ups in April. A week or 2 after that, he came out with the tailor-made freestyle, which I thought was super creative. He used the AI versions of Tupac Shakur and Snoop Dogg to diss Kendrick. I thought it was creative. So he's used that blitzkrieg strategy. And K-Dot came And K-Dot came in April with the Euphoria shit. And then right after, before Drake had a chance to respond to Euphoria, came out May 3rd. Mark my words, this is the craziest day in hip hop history, except for maybe like when Pac got killed or Biggie got killed. This is the third. Yeah, if you don't count though, this is the third craziest day in the history of the art. Because on May 3rd, Kendrick Lamar said, I can blitzkrieg strategy too. I read 4 days. I read the 33 Laws of War. I can use law number 4 too. He came out with Euphoria. Then on April 3rd, he came out again before Drake had a time to respond. He came out with 616 in LA, which in my opinion was the fucking wackest song of this whole beef. Like I wasn't really feeling that one. That was the only one I didn't really like. Some of the other joints are super hard. I didn't really like that one. He sounded like he was doing slam poetry in a fucking white coffee house in Brooklyn over backpack beats. But whatever, people seem to enjoy it. I'm old, what do I know? Then the same fucking day, Drake came with Family Matters, which I thought was fucking hard. It was 3 different beats. You could tell he had been planning that one for a long time. Then Kendrick Lamar drops Meet the Grams right after. So it's like before this motherfucker Drake has a chance to respond, he's dropping shit on. He's using that same strategy against him, and it seems super effective. Then the next day, he comes with Not Like Us, which may be the fucking hardest track of this whole battle, Not Like Us. But at least that's what I thought at first. But then I was thinking, like, he's talking about like stuff with kids and shit. I don't know if motherfuckers should be dancing to that shit. Like, I don't know, but whatever. You know, that was super hard. They both used the blitzkrieg strategy, law number 4, the 33 Laws of Power. But it seemed like Kendrick used it fucking more. And it seemed like he was willing to not stop. He seemed relentless. Sun Tzu also said in The Art of War, your attack should be so severe that retribution should not be feared. And I was like, oh, that's what it's looking like. I think Kendrick also took advantage of Law 28, take the initiative strategy. Always be proactive, dictating the pace of the game. Remember, Kendrick started, he set out the first official shot. I think that was the Like That diss. Then, you know, Drake went twice, but then Kendrick just went, he just wouldn't stop. It seemed like Drake was on defense the entire time. This entire battle, he was on defense, and it seems as if Kendrick was kind of in charge of it. So what does that mean? From the blitzkrieg strategy, what you need to understand is if you gotta attack your opponent, you should go super fucking hard and don't stop, right? Be ready to go on a long campaign. Don't just take one punch. If you gotta go all the way. And that's why a lot of times I'm reluctant to get into any kind of beef or battle with someone, because if I go, I gotta go like that. I gotta go so heavy handed, almost like you crush their will. And that's why I'm always reluctant to get into anything. It's like, man, is it worth what I gotta do to get into it? So be sure, go all the way. Don't pussyfoot around. Go super fucking hard. And also, when you go fast like that and you're relentless, now you dictate the strategy of your opponent, because they got to play defense instead of being able to ever get on offense, if that makes sense. I think he's handled that masterfully this entire process. I think he's mastered that massively. And like, I'm a real like Drake fan. I was one of the nerds who stayed up till midnight in 2009 to download So Far Gone. I was late to work the next day because of this motherfucker, you know? So to say that Kendrick is winning, it's like, it's hard for me to admit that. But then he took it another level. It's also Law 20. That's another part of it. It's kind of works in tandem with blitzkrieg, the siege strategy, which is apply constant pressure to exploit your enemy's weakness. As you can see from the timeline of this battle, Kendrick has been relentless. This motherfucker dropped like 4 songs in one weekend about this motherfucker. I mean, that's real. It's a relentless battle. Like, this motherfucker will not let up. Even when Drake releases his final diss on the May 5th, called The Heart Part 6, which was strategically brilliant because, you know, Kendrick always has the Heart saga, right? And his last one was 5, so Drake put out Part 6. Even in his caption, he said, I know you probably got like this song's ready, you know? So Drake knows it almost seems like he's paranoid about this motherfucker going to diss again tonight. This motherfucker might be dissing him right now as I record this shit. I don't know how many disses are going to come out before you watch this video. That's all part of the strategy. Like, he's keeping his foot on his neck. It's relentless. And even Drake had to admit that he's being relentless in a half-hearted kind of way. Now, check this out. Law 20. The dirty war strategy. Be willing to employ morally ambiguous tactics to secure victory. What I mean by this is, we don't know if anything either one of these guys are saying about each other is true. You get what I'm saying? And it's not about who's the best rapper anymore. Like when J. Cole put his diss out about Kendrick Lamar, it was about his rapping quality. It was a good diss, 7-minute drill. I was super excited. J. Cole's my favorite rapper. I felt like he put out a dope song, and it was about his skill level and who he is. And then he apologized like a fucking bitch. These motherfuckers are not about that. They're talking about each other doing crimes, horrific crimes, like abusing other people with no evidence, like giving no evidence. I think it's a little morally ambiguous to accuse somebody of these things on both sides without evidence, because these are like horrific things they're accusing them of. It's not even about rap no more. It's about, oh, you're a bad person. You do this to people. I don't want to say it on YouTube. You do this to this type of people, or you did this to your wife. The same fucking foul shit. They're bringing their kids involved in it. Both of them brought their kids. Kendrick started, he mentioned Drake's kids initially off the rip, and then Drake started talking about how his kids, so I don't know, man. I understood when Pac and them were doing it because Pac felt like Biggie set him up and tried to kill him. Listen, everyone says that you can't go too far in a battle, but what I wanted them to do is to see who's the best rapper. And I don't feel like we're getting that as fans. It's entertaining, it's dope. This is not about that. This is war. These motherfuckers hate each other, and they're willing to do or say anything to crush these motherfuckers. And we don't know what's true and what's not. Here's the thing. If what Kendrick is saying about Drake is true, I don't think motherfuckers should be dancing to it. Like, we should be trying to get that motherfucker locked up. When I see motherfuckers crip walking or dancing to a song on that topic, I don't know. The song is hard for sure, but it's like, I don't know. I think it's morally ambiguous. And what Drake is saying about Kendrick's relationship with his wife and the biology of his children, man, if that's true, that's like some dark shit to say about somebody, and if it's not true, then it's more foul if those things are not true. That's why I don't know. I don't believe that what Kendrick is saying is true. One, I'm a Drake fan, so I don't want to believe it. I will acknowledge that. But also, I don't want to believe it because if it's true, that means that people got abused. You know what I'm saying? That's the main reason I don't want it to be true. Because if it's true that people got abused, if I ever found out it's true, I wouldn't be celebrating. I'd be like, oh fuck, what's up with these? You know what I'm saying? My heart would be super heavy, And I don't think he believes it either, because I don't think he would make a fucking dance party track about a subject so dark. Personally, I just think it's morally ambiguous. But that's law number 20. You got to be willing to do that when you get into a war. And it seemed like he was willing to go anywhere to win this battle. And I think they're both willing to go anywhere to win this battle. Real shit. They're both willing to go anywhere. And that's super wild to me. In closing, what I would like to say, if you have to get into something with someone, first try to avoid it if you don't have to get into it. But if you get into it, you got to go this hard. You got to be willing to do anything. So what I like to do is I really like to say, hey man, do I really want to get involved with this? There was a YouTuber not long ago. He got on a live stream calling me a bitch. This was like a few years ago. And I was like, man, I could respond. But if I get into some real shit with somebody, I got to stop what I'm doing and focus on this shit. Like, I'm sure Drake would have liked to be doing other shit like that weekend instead of fucking making a bunch of songs about Kendrick Lamar. You got to go all in. And I was like, I'm just it ain't worth it. That motherfucker ended up having a heart attack and almost dying a year later, which is cool. Because, there's another part, something else that Sun Tzu said. Hold on, let me bring it up. The supreme war is to subdue an enemy without fighting. So if you don't have to get into it, don't get into it, because this is where it has to go. This battle has turned super ugly. It's not about who's fucking winning or who's the best rapper anymore. It's about who can say the worst shit about each other. And I don't know, I think it kind of cheapened what I really wanted. What I wanted to see the best MCs of our day go at it from a lyrical standpoint. Who's the best rapper? But it seemed to be deeper than that. So just take caution if you got to get into it with someone, with an opponent. So if I was scoring it, first person shooter was a diss. He said, we the big three like we started the league. But he also said they debating my numeral, not the 1, not the 2. I'm the UNO. So J. Cole basically said, yo, I'm fucking better than you, bro. So we got to go first person shooter versus, I don't want to spell that, versus like that. I got to go K. Dot. That would be, we'll call that round 1. Round 2 was definitely, we're going to put push-ups. I'm going to put push-ups against Euphoria. Now, it's not fair because remember, Drake had to diss like 8 motherfuckers, man. Like, real shit, he had to diss 8 motherfuckers and Kendrick was only dissing him. But that's how it's supposed to be. That's the war. He had to diss 8 motherfuckers on push-ups. I'm going to give it to Drake, man, on push-ups. I think it's better than Euphoria. This is me, though. This is the Carter If you feel differently, I feel you. Again, I'm biased. I'm a Drake fan. I've been to like mad Drake concerts, Pulse, and I've been to mad Drake concerts. You know, like I had comeback season mixtape. Like I was that motherfucker like way before So Far Gone. But I had the fucking 808 shit. You know. Then we gotta put Tailor Made versus 616 in LA. The reason I put those two together, because those were like the back-to-back songs that came after, you know. I gotta go Drake with that, man. Tailor Made was way better than 16 in LA. 16 in LA is the worst song of this beef. To me, he sounded like he was doing slam poetry. Now, if we go, here's where it gets interesting. We got to go Family Matters. I don't feel like writing all that. Family Matters versus Meet the Grams. This is when it gets difficult. Because again, Drake still had to address mad motherfuckers. He's still addressing The Weeknd. He's still addressing Future, Rick Ross. All these people are after. But Drake, Meet the Grams was a super creative diss. However, what he said might not be true. The 11-year-old daughter thing. Drake said he tricked him into rapping about that. If it wasn't for that, I'd say Meet the Grams wins. But I got to give this one to Drake for that reason. People saying that they don't believe that. I thought somebody who would know, and they confirmed it for me. But I know that's going to be difficult for y'all to believe, and I'm not at liberty to say it. So I get it. If you think I'm full of shit, I understand that. We're going to go Heart Part 6. Heart Part 6 verse Not Like Us. Yo, I think that's a clear K-Dot victory. Not Like Us. You know, I want to say it's the best song of this whole diss, Not Like Us. But then when I think about people dancing to the subject matter of that, like if, something happened to kids, I'm not dancing to this shit. You know what I'm saying? And when I see people dancing or they playing it in a club, and I'm like, no, this is a song about like a super dark issue. Y'all don't think it's weird to dance to this shit? But I do think it was the hardest song on the track. So you see how I got it scored. I understand how somebody may think it's different. I understand that I'm biased. I had the comeback season mixtape before anybody knew who this motherfucker was. I stayed up till fucking midnight when So Far Gone dropped. It didn't even drop at midnight. You know, I've been to fucking mad Drake concerts. I understand I'm biased. And I like Kendrick Lamar. I think he's a dope rapper. The voices kind of bother me. I don't like the silly voices. He didn't do the voices much in this. He'd be doing like 8 voices per song. I feel like I'm listening to a whole group, like 8 niggas on each song. But he's a dope rapper. Like, he's definitely skillful, and I think this proved it. They're both skillful, man. Some people are saying that Drake can't rap. Like, yo, you need to listen to Family Matters again, bro. This motherfucker was rapping on Family Matters. And that's another thing. I don't think there's a definitive winner here, because I think Kendrick fans are going to say Kendrick won. As you can see, Drake fans are going to say Drake won. But people went into it with preconceived notions, and then like Drake is like the #1 rapper in the world. Everybody likes the underdog. It's kind of like when the Lakers were winning all the championships, everybody wanted the Lakers to win. When the Patriots were winning when the Lakers were winning all the championships, everybody wanted the Lakers to lose. When the Patriots were winning all the championships, everybody wanted the Patriots to lose. You're starting to get a lot of that same shit with OKC. You know, it's that's the nature of being #1. You know, people kind of want to see you fall. I will say, no matter what you see, I think Drake held his own, because it's not a definitive winner like with Ether. When Ether came out, y'all wasn't outside. Y'all don't remember, but I remember. Nobody on the planet was saying that Hov won. And even me, like, I'm probably the biggest Hov fan there is. I was like, yo, Nas, fuck that nigga up. So I think it's just not definitive. But I think public perception is leaning more toward Kendrick. And I think that's what matters. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what matters. I think Kendrick kind of won over the public a little bit more than Drake did. And it is what it is. I have a video with me and Robert Greene talking about some of the strategies from his book, 48 Laws of Power. You should check that out right now.